A single shot rang out, and silence fell over the crowd. Charlie Kirk, one of the most powerful voices in American politics, was just shot live on campus. What really happened, and who pulled the trigger? The atmosphere at Utah Valley University was charged with energy as students and supporters filled the open-air courtyard, waiting for conservative firebrand Charlie Kirk to speak. A clear sky hung above them, and despite campus tension over Kirk's controversial appearance, the crowd was eager, curious, and alert. But then, in a flash, everything changed. A single gunshot cracked through the silence, sudden, sharp, and terrifying. Screams followed as panic surged through the gathering like a tidal wave. People ran in all directions while others dropped to the ground, searching for cover. In that chaos, it was confirmed Charlie Kirk had been hit. Security scrambled, sirens wailed in the distance, and within minutes, a suspect was in custody. The university issued a lockdown and sent out emergency alerts, confirming the nightmare was real. As news spread across social media, reactions poured in from every corner of the political world. Senator Mike Lee and Vice President J.D. Vance asked Americans to pray, describing Kirk as a critical voice for a generation of conservatives. President Trump posted urgently on Truth Social, calling Kirk a great guy from top to bottom. The FBI and ATF deployed agents immediately, treating this as a federal emergency. But more than just a shooting, this act shook a nation already divided by ideology and fear. And now, with one man wounded and an entire movement stunned, America watches closely as law enforcement hunts for motive, meaning, and truth in the midst of political gunfire. As federal agents secured the campus grounds, the ripple effect surged through political circles with chilling urgency. The shooting of Charlie Kirk wasn't just an isolated act. It struck at the heart of a deeply polarized nation. News anchors, influencers, and political figures scrambled to make sense of it all. Within minutes, FBI Director Kash Patel released a statement, confirming federal involvement and vowing full investigative force. Attorney General Pam Bondi echoed that promise, revealing that both FBI and ATF agents were already on the scene. Online, Kirk's supporters flooded platforms with prayers and tributes, while critics warned this could further inflame already volatile rhetoric. In Trump's digital war room, the message was clear: pray for Charlie. But beneath the prayers, tensions brewed. Who pulled the trigger and why? Meanwhile, news networks turned their attention to Charlie Kirk's rise from podcasting provocateur to conservative kingmaker. Once dismissed as a fringe activist, Kirk had become a powerhouse in Trump's orbit, an architect of Turning Point USA, and a voice with real sway over millions. His influence was pivotal during both Trump campaigns, especially among younger voters. Analysts revisited his past, his sharp takes on cultural flashpoints, his clashes with campus activists, and his public critiques of figures across the aisle, including uneasy pressure on the administration over Jeffrey Epstein. Now, with Kirk silenced by a bullet, his platform speaks louder than ever. The question isn't just how he was shot, but what this moment means for the soul of American political discourse. As dawn broke across the divided landscape of American politics, more voices joined the storm. Former President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, urging the nation to pray for Charlie Kirk, calling him a great guy from top to bottom. Vice President J.D. Vance also weighed in, calling Kirk a young father and genuinely good man. The magnitude of the reactions wasn't just sympathy. It was the unmistakable echo of political alarm. This wasn't just a shooting, it was a symbol. And suddenly, the conservative movement found itself both under attack and under a microscope. Kirk, a man who stirred national debate with each broadcast, had become the center of a real-world battlefield. As speculation spread, many feared this event could spark an ideological wildfire. In the wake of the attack, security experts questioned how such an event could unfold at a public university. Charlie Kirk, known for his bold and often divisive stances on race, gender, and identity politics, had long been a lightning rod. Critics condemned his rhetoric, while followers rallied behind his free speech crusade. The outdoor venue, open, exposed, and vulnerable, offered little protection. Experts cited the tragic similarities to past high-profile attacks, calling for new security protocols for controversial speakers. But as investigators worked to uncover the shooter's motive, others asked a darker question. Was this violence random or calculated? One bullet had done more than wound a man. It had ignited a national reckoning, where every word, belief, and silence now carried the weight of consequence. Utah Valley University became more than just a backdrop. It became the epicenter of a cultural earthquake. Students described the atmosphere before the shooting as tense, with debates raging across campus on whether Charlie Kirk should have even been allowed to speak. The student newspaper had warned of division, protest signs were spotted, and online petitions surged overnight. And yet, despite the heated atmosphere, Kirk took the stage with his trademark confidence, addressing students in an open courtyard, flanked only by a few guards and the quiet rustle of campus trees. Then, the shot, a sound that fractured not just the moment, but the narrative of free speech and safety in America's educational institutions. Witnesses screamed, some ran, others froze. Phones captured chaos in seconds. That single bullet didn't just hit Charlie Kirk. It ricocheted through every corner of political discourse. Law enforcement quickly swarmed the scene. A suspect was apprehended, but little is known about their motive or identity. The FBI and ATF flooded in, labeling it a high-priority incident given the political implications. With pressure from both sides of the aisle, the Department of Justice vowed to leave no stone unturned. But beyond the federal task forces and flashing lights, something deeper was unfolding, a battle for control over the narrative. Was this a hate crime, political terrorism, a mental health tragedy, or all of the above? For every politician calling for peace, there were dozens online fanning the flames. What started as a scheduled event turned into a national headline, and as dusk fell over Utah, the country was left staring into a mirror unsure whether it saw courage, chaos, or the cost of freedom. As the investigation deepens, the spotlight on Charlie Kirk intensifies not just as a shooting victim, but as a symbol of America's ideological battlefield. His influence stretches far beyond Utah. He's a father, a media force, and one of the youngest political firebrands in modern conservative history. Social media swelled with messages of support Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, and millions of followers praying, posting, and demanding justice. But underneath the prayers lies a deeper, more unsettling truth. America is bleeding from within. One shot has reignited debates on political speech, campus security, and the weaponization of ideology. The nation now holds its breath not just for Charlie's recovery, but for what comes next. Will this unite or further divide, heal or harden? Justice officials confirmed the suspect remains in custody, yet many questions remain unanswered. Was it personal, political, premeditated? As the federal government activates every possible agency DOI, FBI, ATF, the shooting is no longer just about Charlie Kirk. It's about the fragile line between freedom and fanaticism. His speeches may have stirred controversy, but no one expected them to end in bloodshed. And now, universities across the country reassess their safety plans, their guest lists, and their silence. One man's message became a target. One bullet became a moment. And that moment may now become a movement etched into the memory of a nation still searching for truth amid the noise.